Hey, what's up, everybody? This is part two of the crypto update for Sunday. So I was saying the thing about the death cross is that a lot of times you get a bullish move into the death cross. So that's usually the 50 and the 200. So if we go to settings, and we get rid of the 20 and we get rid of the 200. No, actually, I'm sorry. We get rid of, yeah, we keep, so we use the 50 and the 200. All right. So there you go. There's the death cross right there. And you can see, look what happened the last time we had a death cross. That was actually the end of the three-way move. Remember, we had this three-way pullback. Again, fives and threes. That's why it's so powerful. We had this three-way pullback and we had the death cross in here. But look what happened. It was very short-lived, and as soon as we got the cross, we actually exploded to the upside. Right? So let's see. Is there another death cross? Yeah, look over here. There was a death cross that happened right here. The 50 went below the 200. And what happened was we kind of played around a little bit, but then eventually we shot up to the upside. So the death cross is actually bullish in some regard. Here's a rally, or we almost had a death cross, and let's see, where's the other ones at? Here's another death cross right here. It happened right there, and you can see as soon as it happened, we had a rally. We have a usually you have a counter trend rally at the death cross, just like when you get a golden cross. You have a crash into the golden cross sometimes. So let's see. Do we have a golden? Yeah, right here. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is a golden cross when the 50 goes above the 200. But look what happened when that happened. We actually had a big crash, right? So it's always the opposite. If it's a golden cross, it's bearish. If it's a death cross, sometimes it could be bullish. Maybe not forever, but for a while, right? So there you go. There's the 50 and the 100-day moving average, and you can see we're getting close to the cross. So if we could get, okay, so now it's starting to make sense. Look, if we can finish out this wave and get down here, then these two lines would have crossed. And then you allow some time to pass, that's when we get our counter trend rally after the cross back to the upside. And I think that's what's going to play out. Because again, you look at XRP, and if it is a WXYXZ, then we have a little bit more to go. And look where the 200-day moving average is right here, right? So we're nowhere near a death cross for XRP. All right, so if we can come down and finish, just like Theta and everything else has one more wave down and it finishes, at that time we have the death cross, then we kind of consolidate and then we head higher. Don't think that the market's just going to go down, 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 down forever. It feels like that. It psychologically makes it feels like that, but it's not the case. So, because if you notice, we've been channeling down nicely here in this channel. So if I flip this upside down, right, we're channeling up, 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 up. And what's going to happen? We're going to come back down, which really means up. You can look at theta right over here. Remember when we were looking at the small time frames right over here? Where's it at? Right here. Same kind of channel. You see this? Remember we were talking about it? Look how long we were channeling. We were channeling up, up, up. And then what happened? We had a big fat breakdown. Got all the way back to the top. Theta actually looks pretty bullish right here. You kind of look, or at least for a little bounce. Now remember, I'm a day trader. When I say it looks a little bullish, that could be for a couple hours. That could be for a couple days. It doesn't mean for the rest of time, right? So it looks a little bullish right here because you got a very nice 1, 2, 3, and then you got 4, and then it looks like you're working on 5 here. And I'm sure you have bullish divergence. How much you want to bet we have bullish divergence. Let's see. Look at that. We have very strong bullish divergence. Boom, and then boom. That's what you want to see. So, yeah, it looks pretty decent right here for a little bit of a bounce, right? Again, this is not financial advice. I could be wrong. But, again, when you compare that to XRP, right, and then we're going to flip this upside down, you can see right here, same thing, kind of like we're channeling, we're oscillating down, up, down, right? And channeling down usually gets a break to the upside. So if this is channeling down, what do you think is going to happen? We're probably going to get a break to the upside. So it's, when people say, oh, that's impossible, there's no way that can happen because obviously the tariffs are destroying the world. Well, what about COVID? COVID had much more of a scary impact on the world than tariffs, right? Because COVID was not controllable. It was uncontrollable. Whereas the tariffs, it could be negotiated. You know what I mean? So everyone thinks tariffs, there was a poll and 65% of the people thought tariffs are bad because that's what they're taught to believe. The mainstream media saying they're bad, they're bad, they're bad. No, tariffs is like pest control. It's a deterrent. So anyways, let's flip this back the other way and you can see. So anyways, yeah, I don't think it's finished though. I think we still, again, I think we got a little bit more downside, but I think this circle should be where we find a bottom and a retrace, because you could see theta already had a death cross right here, and there was no rally. I mean, actually, there was a little bit of a rally, kind of right there as it happened. All right, let's look at XRP versus Bitcoin. So XRP versus Bitcoin is actually flagging to the upside and kind of like a reverse flag. So you have this trend line here, and this trend line looks pretty nice. Let's see, did we break it yet? Looks like we've already broken it. Maybe if I make it a little bit tighter. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. That looks a lot better. Let's see. Right about there. Because that would allow me to connect. Actually, yeah, like right there. So, yeah, we're still looking good on the trend line. And then we have another line right here. So is that a triangle? Yeah. Could be like A, B, C, and then you get D, and then you get E. I mean, yeah, maybe. A, B, C, D, and then you get E, and then go. I mean, yeah, it could be a possibility. Sequential, we're on an 8. We had a 9. 2-day chart, not interesting. All right, let's take another look around here. So Ethereum had a death cross, and you could see how fast it's moving down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Yeah, I think we're almost there. I think one more wave down, and I said that last time, but it's a tough situation because you have other forces like unemployment numbers, recession, stock market. You have these things that drive in liquidity and they drive out liquidity, right? So, but I look at something like Chainlink and I don't see really an issue here. I see, we have our base here. We broke out. We had a three-wave move down into the base, and now we're holding it. So if this is wave 3, and then we're going to get some kind of wave 4, and then a wave 5, then yeah, I guess, then you would get a B, C, and then continue. Just kind of scouting around and looking around here. Bitcoin dominance still going up. Obviously, Theta Fuel is going to be the same situation as Theta. Really nothing there. AVAX. Yeah, so AVAX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get 7. Right? Or 1, 2. All of that's 3. This is 4. And then we get 5. So you can count it like that, or you can count it like that, right? Or either way. But AVAX, ICP, and what was the other one? Near. They all have really good waves and three-way pullbacks. So AVAX, Near, ICP, and I think Fetch was another one. They all have really good structures. They all have nice three-way pullbacks. So usually you're going to get a move. And then what that would be is 1, 2, 3. Because we don't have a three-way move yet. We don't have a 3. We have 1, A, B, C. So we need that 1, 2. We need that three-way move back to the retrace levels. And I think that's going to be. That's why I think this is a bear trap. And then once we get up there, it could be a bull trap, So we'll have to reassess it once we get there. All right, so let's look at the weekly chart, and let's look at the moving averages. So the weekly, look at that. We perfectly bounced off the 50. So it used to be it was the bull market support band that would hold the price. Now it's the 50-week moving average. And let's actually turn on the 20 and the 100. Let's get rid of that. And there we go. So yeah, we're bouncing off nicely on the 50. So it used to be that we would always bounce off the 20, but I think as the market grows and it gets bigger and bigger, it's more likely going to be delayed, diminishing returns, meaning you're going to get more so of, a longer correction, which means, like, look over here, we didn't even touch the 20. We only touched it once. And then once we broke it, that was it. It was over. And then what happened was, once we broke below the 20, we bounced off the 50, and that's where we are now. And then we had a retrace. We had one more high, and that was it. And that's exactly the same setup we have now, right? But you can, we broke the 20 over here. We landed on the 50. We came up. We broke the 20 again. We landed on the 50. So it's kind of interesting. That's why I don't really like moving averages all that much, and I don't really use them all that much. But today is interesting because of obviously because of the death cross stuff. So yeah, man, ADA just doesn't look right to me. All of that just, I don't know, man. I just don't like the way that looks. So the dollar looks like it's finding some support. Dogecoin, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe we get 7, and then that lands us down to this very strong support down there, right along these areas, all here. And then we come up, and then we flag out, and then we get going up into the retrace. That's what I'm thinking for all of the charts. Something kind of like that. So, today's date is 3/30/25, and I will screenshot it. I really want to see silver break out, because I got a lot of silver coins. I mean, not too many, but I really would like to sell them and buy some crypto. But I haven't seen any major moves yet, right? So I'm definitely in profit because I was buying down in here 2018, 2017, 2019, but it's a little bit sketchy because, Bitcoin or gold is flying, but silver is just kind of like meandering. It's not. And again, it's all the riggers and JP Morgan. So we're almost to the 618. I'm sure this is on log. No, it's not. All right, that's good. Yeah, so yeah, we're almost to the 618. We silver needs to get above $50, and the target for silver is $75. So let's see if we can get there. Because freaking gold is just rampaging. But silver is just kind of like, womp, womp, womp. So, looks like you got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're probably going to get a 4 and then a 5. All right, I think that's about it. There's nothing else. Let's just move that right there. I think there's nothing else, really. This chart right here is actually a similar chart, that of Dogecoin. So if I could find Doge for a minute, and let's see if I still have the so here we go. Here's Dogecoin, and this was what it was in relation to. So you can see Ethereum Classic and Dogecoin both have very similar structures, right? And look what Dogecoin did. It blasted off into the stratosphere. So it could be that, we have this 3-way pullback. We have a wave 1. We have an A, B, C wave 2. Over here was a lot smaller, right? But we back tested the top of this, and then we exploded. So it definitely was an interesting chart. So, but anyways, that should do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and remember, it's not financial advice. We're just trying to figure things out, just exploring ideas. No pressure. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.